Hey, everybody, and welcome to episode 114 of the Self-Publishing Roundtable, the podcast for indie authors by indie authors, where we discuss today's topics and issues that matter to the business of the self-published author. I am your moderator, Wade Finnegan, and my co-panelists for this evening are Liam Kingman. You can't see him, but he's there, I promise. Hi, Liam.
Howdy.
There you see, I told you he's there. And Xavier Granville.
Hello, Internet.
Xavier is overly happy tonight, which is great.
Oh, he's so happy, so just enormously happy.
Enormously happy. Missed you guys last couple weeks. Sorry about the hiatus, but glad to be back. Michelle couldn't join us tonight. She's got some family things going on, but hopefully she'll be back soon. On tonight's show, we're going to be talking about a couple of things, and of course, you guys also have some control of that. So if you got anything in the comments you want asked and for us to discuss, please share. Two things on the docket. One is we're going to talk a little bit about author platform. It's one of those subjects that comes up a lot. I see it mentioned a lot. Joanna Penn last week shared something to her feed that sparked a lot of debate and stuff. So we're gonna try to hash that out a little bit, and actually try to get our own heads collectively around it a little better, and what we're talking about when we say author platform. And then we'll maybe dive into the discussion to another heated little bit topic about Amazon and them cracking down on some fake reviews that have been posted. We'll probably maybe get into a little bit about the importance of reviews and why people are so tempted to maybe go the fake route. But yeah, anyway, we'll have some good lively discussions, I think. And of course, as I mentioned in the post, if anybody that's watching live might want to jump in, you never know, we can always send an invite to you guys and get you on the show too. So good to see you, boys. And I want to say hi out there to Michelle somewhere, wherever she is. Hopefully she's listening. So all right, let's start off with the platform thing. And I think the best starting point for us is to actually get a working definition or some kind of clear, because that word gets thrown around a ton. And everybody that I know that's in the biz says you got to have one, you need one. But a lot of people have different perspectives. Their perception is different about author platforms. So Xavier, since you're so happy tonight, I'll kind of start off with you. What is your take? What an author platform is?
Well, it's really simple. Like, no matter what, a platform is, it's whatever you are using as your way to communicate with your audience or with your readers or whatever it is that you are pitching to someone. It's by definition, it's a grandstanding. It's if you are someone who is using Twitter all the time and you sell your books or whatever it is that you're selling whatsoever, and you use Twitter and you're effectively using Twitter as the grounds of which you're selling your product, that is your platform. Now, there's multiple platforms of that you can use to your advantage, and as authors, it's kind of our job to pick and choose not only what are the ones that are most effective, but what are the most effective for us. So Facebook, if you use Facebook and you find that the ads work there, that is a platform that you could use. And likewise, like all those social media things could be a platform in the same sense of word of mouth is a platform in itself. So as far as, to me, what is an author platform, it's the combination of all those things that you use in order to communicate with your audience.
Okay, interesting. I think I have a little bit of different take on it, but I'm going to throw it to Liam first because I want to make sure everybody gets a chance. So, Liam, when you hear the word author platform, what comes to your mind?
Well, as long as my internet connection holds up, there's so many different definitions of it. A lot of it boils down to your visibility, how you're seen by everyone, as well as your credibility and your authority on what you're talking about.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's definitely true if you're nonfiction, especially.
Mhm.
Like, if you're selling a book on, well, especially if it's higher end sciences or something where you need to be an authority of, like, if you're going to be buying a book on nanoscience and you want to be, really diving into the depths of subatomic particles, and you want to actually be making sure that you're reading this based off of someone who knows what they're talking about. You want to make sure that this person is educated properly with the right thing, having a whatever degree, PhD of whatever it is that they are speaking of. You want to make sure that this person is the top level of authority.
I like the idea of authority. When I was thinking about the platform, and maybe we can throw out some different terms if you think, but I always think of it as kind of like identity, like when the image that you get when a name is mentioned. Like I'll think of like John Green, and I think of his platform like what Xavier's talking about, like YouTube, but I also get this image of a person that will that tackles world issues and things like that, right? He doesn't really sell his books through his platform. In fact, I mean, he does have his own website, but there's not a lot of selling. If you think about his tweets, his Facebook posts, his YouTube videos, it's all about him and what he feels about things and sharing stuff that way. And then kind of contrast that to I think about like Stephen King, and I every time, whether Stephen King has written other things or not, which he has, I automatically think of like classic horror, right? Like this kind of, I mean, obviously he's been around a long time, right? And he's had a long time to build that platform, but I always think of platform as the image you get. And the thing that really strikes me is that's different. We're very similar in a lot of ways to a lot of businesses, but one thing that's big difference is our product isn't necessarily our platform, right? It can be, right? But a lot of times our platform can be just our personality, our who we are, and when you think of big companies and stuff like that, then they're building their platforms. It's usually always behind products or certain products, and especially if you write in different genres, then I think that's where it becomes really convoluted, and why a lot of people struggle with platform, and because they're always trying to figure out, well, who am I presenting, or who do I want to present to the public? What do I want them to think about when they hear my name? So
Yeah, and I think that's where a lot of people start getting. When I hear author platform, I'm thinking about what I had said. Whereas sometimes I think that what you're talking about starts drifting a little bit more into branding, which I think goes hand in hand with the author platform. But I think no matter what, the platform is just the means to voicing whatever your brand is. If that makes sense.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. So I actually like how you're dividing that out a little bit, and I think that's one thing too to help keep it simple. I know one of the problems I have is that these things do mesh together, blend together, and then they become bigger maybe than they are. So if we go with your definition, working with a platform, it's just your jumping off point, wherever it is that you're going to be visible, be out there. I mean, maybe disagree if you guys disagree, but I think no matter what, you have to have some platform, right? And I mean, without any platform, you're not going to sell any books, right? So then you're not really in as an author. True?
I agree.
Yeah, no matter what, and I don't know if we have even talked about mailing list. I think that's like the #1 platform. So like, I think that's as much as you can be focusing on anything, focus on that mailing list, because that is a proven platform. A weekly to bi-weekly to monthly update on you to the people that want to hear from you is a great way to satisfy the people who want to hear from you and encourage those people to maybe be interested in you further if you're not spamming them with stupid things.
You know, and every time we've had a guest on or one of us makes this point, I'm always doing this. Yep, totally agree. But it's still, even though, and myself included, I know, and I won't speak for you guys, but I'll see what you think. We know the email list is really important. Everybody should have one. But be honest, how much have you really done to try to cultivate one? Me, I got to sign up on my website, but I haven't done much. How about you guys?
No, I think for me, I know I need to do it. I've done it a little bit under one of my other pen names, but as for the Liam brand with everything, I haven't done it enough, and part of that's because I haven't pushed forward with where I want to go with my writing under that name. So it's kind of been on hold. It's something that when I do move a little bit further ahead in the game, that I'll definitely be doing. I'm not at that point right now yet, and I know you should be building your list. So when you are ready, you have that in your corner. I'm just not there right now.
Okay. Yeah, and of course, like you just said, Liam, most of the people we sit on, it doesn't matter if you have anything available or not. You should be building a list ahead of time, right? But I'm totally there with you. I feel it feels weird to kind of put the cart before the horse, but yeah. Xavier, let you answer. How much have you done work on building your list?
Oh, I have very little people on my list. I think I have two between 3 and 4 handfuls of people on my list. So yeah, I think I definitely need to step it up as far as my involvement as far as sending out more content to them. And that's really the problem with, as far as I'm concerned. Like, you can keep regular with that stuff, but ultimately you can't be just sending them out nothing, and you can't be sending out spam either. So what you are sending out is an extension of that brand. So you have to be satisfying them in the same sense that another pitch to something, or just a YouTube video of something that's related to whatever you're doing, feeding that audience of, what that they're interested, because if they're interested in your book, they're probably interested in stuff that you're interested to, blah, blah, blah. Like, ultimately, you have to be feeding that audience in some way that is going to be bringing them back to email too, as well as feeding them to maybe buy the book. But ultimately, you have to cater that audience to keep clicking. And that sometimes means having the availability of release-wise, constantly having new things and telling them about that, or otherwise you have to be trying to encourage them to keep clicking your emails with other means.
And where I think a lot of people go wrong with their lists and with their platform itself is they push too hard into the hard sell. And they're constantly doing the hard sell on things, and it turns a lot of people off.
Yeah, I would agree. Or only updating. I know I've got a lot of lists like this where they only update when they have something to sell. Even if they're not overly pushy with it, I don't hear from them unless they have something they want me to buy. Mm-hmm. And so that's where I think that. So the email list is the platform, right? So then if we keep it simple, like Xavier is talking about, and think about the branding as a separate thing, but that's where they really mesh, right? Because your branding is got to come through on that platform, right? And actually, Xavier, I got a specific question for you, and sorry to put you on the spot, but I just
oh no.
So, because I've been thinking a lot about this, likely I got a pen name in the hole, and I know what I want to write under that name and stuff, and I know what I want to release, but I'm trying to figure out how to brand it, right? For one thing, it's me, but it's not going to be me, right? As in people aren't going to know it's me, and I'm not exactly sure how my genre is going to fit perfectly. And so my question is to you, with all that backstory, is like something like Dinosaur Noir, I think really difficult to brand. I mean, it's a cool thing. It's something if I wrote Dinosaur Noir, I'd have it made on T-shirts. But but because branding is about finding an audience and about doing and. Okay, if you Google Dinosaur Noir, I'm guarantee you're not going to get a list of things, right? So how do you brand that stuff? How does that work?
You write something else. That's what you do, Wade. No, that's that is just it. I think when people talk about branding, they talk about high concept, and that is, Dinosaur Noir definitely fits under that definition right there. It definitely has high thrills, high action, humor, romance, all the things. But like you said, it's got so much in there. How do you sell it? So I think the answer to that is with more content, you might see some traffic. But yeah, I think as far as a first novel for in my experience to put out, it's definitely not something I would recommend. And if I were to recommend it, I wouldn't spend as much time as I did in getting that second book out. Immediately have the second book out immediately, because if you're going to be doing something weird like Dinosaur Noir, like I did, do better than I and immediately be catering to that weird audience.
So yeah, I mean, you didn't really, and we've talked about this before on previous shows. You didn't really do a whole lot to try to cultivate an audience before the first release, right? You released it to the people you knew, right?
Yes.
Circles.
Yeah. And no matter what, I've had as low expectations as I think are healthy. Like no matter what, like it's definitely an investment of time and effort to be putting out a book that's 80,000 words, and no matter what, that's you don't ever want to think that's a waste of time. So ultimately, my motivation of doing it was trying to get something out, and ultimately it was the first novel that I was able to fully complete of that length. So yeah, it was an experiment, and I think that should you be doing an experiment under your own name? No, but that's personally that's how I view things, because I'm kind of artsy and weird and stuff like that. So I'll attach my name to anything that I do because I'm proud of it. And if that's going to be spoiling my branding in the long term, well, then you're probably not the guy that's going to be reading my books. Sorry.
Yep. Good point. Well, now something else that you're involved with, though, I think has a little more. Well, no, does not think it does have a more straightforward branding, and that's the collective stuff, right? I mean that's
it's sci-fi to the core, yeah, definitely.
Right. So what have you guys done to start branding? What have you guys? So well, actually, two questions. What platform are you guys mainly pushing on? And then secondly, what are you guys doing for your branding on that?
Well, our main platform, I think, would be our Facebook group. It's as far as just the community on there, and then we have our website, in which every week we have blog posts, and sometimes because we'll always have, no matter what, a blog post by one of our authors doing a somewhere between 500 to 2,000 words, small little post that fits inside of our collective world. And the basic idea of the collective is that there is this, we call it the God machine, because it's far in the future. There's this race of beings that have created this machine that attaches these people called scribes to this God machine, and through these people's imaginations and thoughts, parallel worlds and alternate realities are born from these guys' ideas. So the main concept is that for every possibility, there's somebody writing it somewhere. And so the blog entries are these writers writing about them writing. So it's a very meta type of thing as far as us as writers being writers writing about writers.
That's cool.
Nice.
But at the same time, we work in a sci-fi thing because these guys are literally attached to these matrix-like machines, and they are being kept alive by the fact that they are telling stories in their minds to create new worlds. So it's kind of a bleak existence for these poor chaps.
Slave writers.
Yes, exactly. Whereas our individual releases that will be more novella length, or novels or short story length, which will be coming out. I think the plan is to be in monthly intervals. Will be more along the lines of reflective of what these alternate worlds that our scribes or otherwise the collective, this God machine thing, has created. So everything kind of feeds back into the main idea that someone is tampering with the fabric of reality through the means of this machine and these writers type of thing.
Interesting. Very interesting. So how are you guys finding some readers besides the blog? Are you doing anything else there that you're trying to get the word out through?
Well, it's nice that we have a good, I think it's 14 members or something like that. So we all have our own individual skills. So like the other day, I was interviewed by one of the members, Wolf Dietrich, from Australia, and so it was nice to be on his blog because he tends to write predominantly more fantasy, or as far as his audience goes. With his one book, The Seals of Abdgal. I can't remember the pronunciation of that name. But yeah, so we all kind of cross promote each other. So through our individual audience, there's that, and then we're trying to come up with other ways that we can do that. So like I'm doing all the covers for the individual releases, so we're trying to find individual ways that each author can use their own skills to cross promote each other or otherwise help out on the individual release.
I like that. I think that's really, really smart.
Yeah, and like we're all each other's beta readers and stuff like that,
Yeah. But now, would each individual release be tied to that individual author, or is there a part that goes to the whole thing?
Well, that's what we're kind of toying with. That's kind of the option and the downfall of when you're working with alternate realities. What's the real reality?
Where does the actual real money go?
Yes. Yeah, well, and that's just it. So because of the concept in general, the individual ideas can be pretty limitless between each author. So as much as we have this kind of a ground layer or otherwise a basic what Stephen King calls like the acorn thing, we have a small nugget that basic, we can take that concept and then each individual author can go off and do their own thing, but it still works within the context of the entire timeline or otherwise concept of the story. Just because it's an open play field for sci-fi madness. Oh yeah, and Jamie Dodge says all the money goes to me. He's decided that. So there's your answer, Wade.
All the money goes to me. Yeah. Was it Jamie that came up with the idea originally? Is that why he's claiming it?
Oh, I'm pretty sure it just came to him right now.
Oh, that is awesome. See, that to me is where and that's why I think that the two terms mesh a lot, because the platform is the brand in some ways, right? It's because of having this collective together, it's being pushed out through the sites and that sort of stuff. Like you said before, Xavier, that's the true definition of platform. But because of this woven fabric that you have with it all, which is very elaborate, which is really cool. It all becomes part of the brand as well, right? And that's why I think a lot of authors get confused, get overwhelmed, especially because it's like, okay, how do I? And also, right, we all want to stand out, right? When anytime we talk about branding, right, we want that catchphrase or that one thing that kind of takes off. And so when they hear Xavier Granville, they know exactly who that guy is, and so and that's a lot of pressure. That's a lot of pressure to come up with that.
Yeah, no, and that's just it. And I think that there are many different authors that definitely subscribe to that level of branding. Lee Child, that's a
Great
very
example.
like holy crap. Okay, Nora Roberts, and the reason that she writes Nora Roberts so well is because she also writes that other name J.D. Robb so well, and that's a total different brand, because one's like the female chick lit, and then the other one's fairly still chick lit, but what's like police procedurals and
Right, well, I was not mystery, I guess, but crime thriller or something. Yeah,
yeah, exactly. And the branding of those are totally different, but she totally owns up to the fact that she's the same person. So it's not, ultimately, yeah, like you said, like these things kind of start bleeding into each other. So unless you're like Stephen King doing like Richard Bachman and doing a little experiment on what sells and what doesn't, through trying to keep things separate from yourself. Personally, I think that to me, I just don't like the idea of going that route.
Does it seem a little gimmicky to you? I mean, when you're mentioning those other authors, one that came to my mind was like Sue Grafton. I think Sue Grafton. She wrote the alphabet, right, for murder mysteries. But it seemed to work. I mean, people.
Oh yeah.
Does it seem gimmicky? Is that why maybe you're a little bit?
Yeah, I think it's like the same reason that like Al Pacino complains about people walking up into the street and going hoo-ha. Like it's like that shit doesn't define me as an artist, sir. Like that's what I think about that kind of stuff. It's the artists / authors that I personally respect and look up to have a large body of work which consists of a multitude of genres and themes and tones. And I think that as an artist, that's what I'm wanting to express in my body of work, because sorry, life changes, and the things that you want to write or otherwise express about through art is going to change. And I don't feel like I should be committing myself as that kind of person to one thing, because I'm not going to do that one thing very well across the years. So I'm going to take a stab at multiple series across my writing career. But am I going to be doing one consistently for always? That depends on the audience and how well I could actually accurately keep up with their demands.
Yeah, it's interesting. And it's almost kind of like to watch what you wish for. I mean, thinking of like Andy Weir, the Martian. Now it's been such a huge success, but now is he going to be kind of stuck? It's like when somebody like with actors too, right? They do a one role so well that they can't get other roles and other things because everybody just associates them with that.
Yeah, exactly. And as much as I think, I'm certainly not ashamed of dinosaur noir in any sense, but I don't think that book defines me in the same sense that I don't think the next book that I'm going to be putting out is going to define me. I think that's up to the audience, no matter what in the end. And when you're going to be putting out a large body of works, who knows what you're going to be remembered by. So, in the case of like friggin' like Arthur Conan Doyle and stuff like that, you kill off Sherlock Holmes and you try to write a couple other books that are more serious and more contemporary. People didn't like them. They didn't really sell, and people just kept asking for the next Holmes book, even though he freaking killed them off.
Gotta bring him back to life, damn it.
Yeah. So in that case, hey, that makes total sense if you have to jump the pen name game and totally have to approach the audience from a whole different angle. But to me, I don't think that's not. I don't see that happening as much nowadays because. I think as authors in this age, we have the opportunity of being taken more as a contemporary artist in that sense. You look at Neil Gaiman because he's known for his comic books. He's known for his contribution to film. There's short stories for children. There's adult full fiction books. It's up to you how you define your brand and how you define your platform, and so. As far as what works best and how concise or I guess I don't know what the word I'm looking for here is, but how small you can reduce that and make it catchy and attractive to viewers, that's up to you. And is one going to do better than the other? I don't know, probably, but that's the experiment, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think Patrick just put the comment out. And I guess he's quoting Mimi actually, but I choose adjectives and money, right? Part of it is screw the art. I'm going to write whatever be a sellout, I guess. But if you're going to be a sellout, own it, I guess. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, no, and that's what I mean. Like, and I have there's a couple series that I'm working at. They're total sellout series, but am I going to put a different name on them? No, there's just going to be another one of my books, and I probably will make more money off that series than the other one. Will that series make Dinosaur Noir sell any better? Probably not, but it might. And you don't know. That's the gamble.
It's true. Liam, I feel like we're hogging the mic. You want anything to throw in there?
No, not at all. Yeah, I think a lot with the pen name taught by the traditional publishing industry, and that's changed a lot now with indie. Only allow the authors to put 1 to 2 books a year, so they have to do the different pen names, different products out there. And as the indie market has changed with everything, you can do everything under the one name. And yeah, there's still, if you want to have a certain book, you want anonymity from it, that's fine. You might be ashamed of it, you might not ashamed of it, whatever. So you might just want a separation on that, so I can see that. But the need for pen names has really kind of changed as the indie industry has evolved.
Good point. Yeah, and actually, we talked about this before with me, and I've fought with this, toyed with this a lot, I've decided to do the pen name just because of my day job, really, and it never would be for me, at least for me anyway. Not it's like Xavier said, wouldn't be ashamed of anything I write. I just don't want to have to deal with the hassle of society pressures and stuff. So I was like, you know what, just to decided it's going to free me up. Go ahead.
Liam Kingman itself is a pen name, so I'm using a pen name right now, but that's part of the brand. That's part of whether it's not because I want to have anonymity for my real name, because a lot of people know my real name. Most people don't. But I still use it, and that's why I just choose to put my work under, and I will continue to put my work under that name. So there's nothing wrong with using a pen name if you choose to.
Yeah. True. Very true. So this whole branding, not to say issue, dialogue, it can go in a lot of different directions, and I think. Just like Xavier and I were talking about, it just depends on what perspective you want to take, right? How you want to go about it, and I guess what I get from Xavier's comments and what I'm coming to the conclusion is too, the great thing about being indie is you are in control. and you
Yeah.
can decide that, right? Somebody at corporate isn't going to tell you, hey, we're going to brand you this way and we're going to make you look this way, and but for some people maybe they don't like that too. Maybe they're like, it's like if someone else told them, okay, well these are the type of covers you're going to have, this is what how you're going to present your public life. Maybe they would like that, but I'm like X, I think, in this sense. I want to be who I want to be and go with it.
Yeah, like I don't, I kind of want to be like Bill Murray in the future, where if you want me in a movie, you there's a 1-800 hotline to call Bill Murray's house, and you can pitch him a movie. And this is real. You can call Bill Murray, and you can pitch him a movie at any time. I don't want to. I want to make sure that I'm along that level of artist where I'm making the calls myself, not going to an in-between agent person that has my best interests at heart. and I'm not saying that all those people don't. And guess what? I have an agent right now, so I hate myself for even thinking about that. But no matter what, you have to know where to draw the line with these things, and you have to start thinking at these. I want to make sure that I have help along the way. I want to make sure I don't have handlers.
Right.
Ooh, I like that. Help, not handlers. Hey, that could be a T-shirt.
Yeah. I'm full of T-shirts.
You are.
I puke one up every morning.
I should be writing all these things down over the course of our shows. I could have a whole line of Xavier T-shirts.
Yeah.
Catchphrases.
Xisms.
Yes. Yes. I've been flipping back and forth to the website a little bit, but I haven't seen any questions. Oh, Kate Morgan makes a good point. Daniel Radcliffe did a smart thing. He wasn't going to be Harry Potter for the rest of his life, which I think he could have been easily, but so he started cutting his teeth in theater and indie movies to establish himself beyond one role. I will say this though, I still have a hard time thinking of him as anything else, because Harry Potter, right?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And I think that there's definitely a line to that whole like I'm an artist thing. Don't get me wrong. Like I'm not saying just like do whatever. Don't make money. That's fine. Okay, live your life or try. I guess canned food, good. But like that's not what I'm saying. Like but you definitely don't want to be all Salvador Dali and just trying to be abstract and experimental for your entire life. If fun, and if art is, or otherwise, if the idea of writing something that's like a YA adventure, that that's an audience that will sell, and that's fun for you, and you can commit to it for a long time. Oh, you do it, and not only are you going to have fun, you're going to make money doing it too.
Yeah, good point. Good point. Yeah. And as one, I can't remember who said it though, so I didn't look at writing dino porn. Hey, if that's what you like to do, go ahead.
Yeah, well, and that's just like, will that stuff sell for the rest of your life? And do you want to write that stuff for the rest of your life? Ugh. Maybe to each their own, not I. And that's just it. Like I planned Dinosaur Noir to have at least 7 books in that series. Is that going to be something that's spread out across the rest of my life? Oh God, I hope not.
Yeah, well, you never know. It might take off someday, and you might be known as Dinosaur Noir author. But anyway, okay. Well, I would encourage audience members that are listening, if you have any questions, please throw them in there. We only have about 20 minutes left in the show, so I did want to get to our other topic too, because I just think it's interesting to talk about. And that is the stuff that made headlines here last week with Amazon and going after, I guess is the right term, some fake reviews. And actually, Xavier first was the guy that first brought this to my attention. So can you give us just a brief, Xavier, about what Amazon did?
Well, it was mostly going after people doing either fake or otherwise paid reviews, and it was something around something over 1,000 people being sued, and they went off after some Fiverr people, like people on Fiverr. They just offered to somehow magically show up with you on your Amazon account, and just you'll find 10 reviews the next day after paying this guy $5. Oh my God, how did this happen? It's because they were not legit, sir, and you should know that by the fact that you've made a transaction of money in order to get these reviews. And I think that there's definitely a line to that whole thing, like because no matter what, these people offering to advertise or try to promote your book or otherwise try to round up reviewers for your book, they could have the best intentions in the world, but what we're seeing is there's a lot of people who don't have the best intentions in the world, and they're trying to make the quick buck off of self-published authors. And so I think it's nice to see that at least some people are getting sued over it, but ultimately, if you're paying money in one way or another for reviews, it's not a good thing, and that's why people are getting sued for it.
Right. I totally agree with you. Pay money, no good, right? But what do you guys think? And Liam, jump in whenever you feel like it, because I can't see you on camera tonight. Where do you guys draw the line for incentives to give reviews? Do you have something like a moral compass, if you will, with it, or what do you guys think about that?
For me, it would be I wouldn't do anything monetary. I'd give out free books. I'd offer to read someone else's book and do an honest review. The monetary thing just wouldn't work for me personally. I understand why people would do it. I'm not saying that it's right, but I do understand why they would do it without having reviews on your product, whether it's books or whatever type of product you're trying to sell. Without those reviews, people are less likely to buy your product. So I understand why they're doing it. Doesn't make it right, but I can say I do understand it.
Yeah, I do too. Do you guys think a paid review, and let's say it's a paid review that they actually read your book, like they'll actually read it and review it. Is that any worse though, really, than like your best friend reviewing your book and giving it? I mean, what I'm getting at is here, I totally agree with you guys on the monetary side, but for Amazon to take the time to litigate to do this, I don't know. I see it. I mean, for a company size like Amazon too, it just seems a little bit frivolous to me. I understand why. I totally get why, and I can't say I disagree. But at the same time, there's going to be lots of ways that people garnish reviews, probably, that you're never going to be able to police, right?
Yeah. Well, and I think that's ultimately the problem is it's an ethical issue, right? So. For every person that's going to be using the system in a positive manner, there's going to be an equal person that's going to be using it negatively. So, yeah, if I don't think Amazon, like they have in the past, should be cracking down on. If you know this author personally, then the review is pulled. I think that's a no-no. Or otherwise, that's a very gray issue. Just because what's the line of relation to the author that is unacceptable for a review to be unbiased? 2, how does Amazon know about this relation?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and ultimately, just I think that on top of that whole argument, there needs to be a reason why these things are being pulled down or otherwise blocked, or these people being sued. Sorry, Matt Morris just said you have to disclose your endorsement if you've been provided compensation for the endorsement. Yeah, very good. but yeah, there has to be a reason why Amazon is attacking these people, and it has to be for a reason of ethics. If these people are maliciously using Amazon or gaming Amazon to benefit themselves, and that's really at the expense of that author or otherwise whoever that product manufacturer that they're reviewing, and that they're getting stars for that, and then those stars are disappearing. That's affecting that person's business, and that's harmful. And those people do need to be punished. So we need to that needs to be policed for sure. But it is a gray area as far as who are these people when you know who they are, or otherwise you're paying someone just $5 in order to actually read your book and review it. How is Amazon going to differentiate those two parties? The person who is trying to do you a favor, but at the same time trying to, like you, pay their own bills, or and how do they differentiate that person between someone who's a scammer?
Right. Yeah, it's a fine line to walk, right? And yeah, it's one of those tough things. And reviews are really a lifeblood, right? I mean, and I think it was Krishan that made the point. Somebody did, sorry, I took your question. Just kind of said, but traditional publishers have, paid companies to offer books for free for people to read and review. And, I don't know, giving away advanced reader copies, as like Kate Morgan says, it's something that's been in the business a long time. Now,
Yeah.
giving free books is different than paying, but at the same time, I just don't know. I mean, paying a guy $5 on Fiverr, I don't know. It just seems to me like Amazon is kind of chasing after the little guy, but maybe not. I could be persuaded the other way. But when I first read this stuff, I'm thinking it's like, really don't got anything better to do than do this. But it is a tough line to walk, I would guess. It's hard, and especially as a big company, right? You got to maybe squash it before it gets really out of control.
Yeah, well, and that's just it. Like Robert had mentioned, Fiverr. Just like, yeah. I don't think those individual people that are the making much money off of the system are probably making that much money. So, yeah, it does seem more on Amazon's part like kind of like a power play. Like it's we're making an example of these couple guys,
Yeah.
and the number is large enough, over 1,000 people, to, I think, ideally scare some of these other people.
Yeah, you're probably right. Probably more of a scare tactic than anything. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out if the lawsuit goes forward, or if these people just kind of disappear for a while, and Amazon be like, haha, we made our point. And that amount of money that they spend is just a drop in the bucket to them. So,
well, there's also a flip side to it too. I read a couple of different articles on it, and we've been mostly talking about positive reviews, but some of these people that are being sued are also being sued for doing the negative reviews, being paid to do negative reviews against other people's products.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's a good counterpoint there then.
Yeah, and no matter what, and that's just it. Like, these people are in one way or another becoming a hindrance upon the business of whatever the manufacturer of the product is. So if there are two competing companies of leaf blowers, and one company's been paid to bring down the stars on the other company's leaf blowers, that's definitely going to be affecting the sales of that person's business, and that needs to be punished. But because it is, it's ethically wrong, for one, to just create fallacies to shame another person out of competition.
Mm-hmm.
But also, these people need to not have the opportunity to do so. So, like Amazon had said, on certain things, they're starting to crack down on the Amazon verified purchase. So, sometimes with certain pages of certain different types of products, they don't have that built-in thing where it's just like you have to have purchased this product in order to review it.
Yeah.
So crack down on that for one. That's a good start.
Yeah, and you make a good point there, because we're always talking about books, but as a consumer, if I'm going to buy a flat screen TV or a leaf blower, I'm probably going to, in fact, I know I will pay a lot more attention to those stars than if I would as buying a book. Because buying a book, I usually tend to dig a little deeper, right? If I want to buy a book, I'm going to really read in, but if I, a leaf, especially let's say like a leaf blower, right? I'm probably not going to take a ton of time to research that. I'm not that type of geeky guy. I'm like, okay, this one's a 5-star review. That means people liked it. It must be a good, decent blower. I'll buy it. And I know there's going to be Matt Morris is going to probably make a joke or something like that, or Robert will. But but yeah, so I could definitely see the point there.
Well, and like Liam said too, you need it. It has to be both ends of the spectrum. You want to make sure that the 5-star one is an accurate 5-star, and you want to make sure that 1-star is not actually a 5-star because a bunch of people have rated it down for no reason other than money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Great point. Okay, I don't know. That actually went faster than I thought. I thought we'd have more to argue about, but
no, we're pretty much on the same level about this.
We are. All right, viewers, you get questions? Go ahead, Xavier.
I personally heard the other day that Amazon. I don't know if this is a new rule, because I personally have never tried this, but some people do in their keyword stuffing. How people condense keywords in their descriptions for Amazon to get more searchability in Amazon search engine and stuff like that. But I guess Amazon's cracking down more on people using free in the keywords, just so like if you have like a perma-free or whatever book, or doing like Kindle Countdown deal, or you're trying to reference sale and stuff like that. There's certain keywords that they're cracking down on, because they're you're not supposed to be indicating any kind of value of price.
Oh, really?
I hadn't heard that one.
I'm not either. That's interesting.
Yeah, a friend of mine told me about that the other day. 'Cause she got this weird email, and she had to take every. She had a couple perma-free books. She just had to get rid of the word free or otherwise relating to free from the keywords.
Because perma-free is definitely part of the marketing strategy that a lot of authors are using. So why wouldn't you put that in the keywords? Because
right. Well, and that's what when she told me that, I was like, hey, I never even did that. Okay, well, now I'm going to get an awful email from Amazon if I do. Okay, that's lame.
Yeah.
Because that would have probably boosted sales of my, perma-free ebook.
That probably would. And we're getting confirmation. Renee Kelly says, yep, I heard about it yesterday too. So it must. Look at that, hot off the presses here for the roundtable tonight.
Holy crap, I'm doing my job.
Wow, breaking news.
Yeah, that's even more breaking news. Xavier Granville is on top and poignant this evening, startling the nations of all across the world.
That's right. Oh, well, Xavier, you picked up the slack pretty well last couple of weeks. I will say that. That was good. So.
Thank you for that.
You were kind of on topic, yeah.
But yeah, what do you think of that, Wade? Like, do you think Amazon should have the right to limit those keywords as far as like you said, that's a total angle that an author could use to create promotion for their free or sale based book.
Yeah.
Oh, Matt Morse saying they hound people every few months about these forbidden keywords. Not new, not old. That's even worse in my opinion. If it's a sporadic thing, then
Yeah,
it's kind of bullshit.
It is, and a lot of things Amazon does. is kind of bullshit a lot of times. But also, part of me says they're a company; they can do whatever they please. I mean, that's part of being a company, right? You can make up your own rules and saying, well, okay, we're not going to advertise this or whatever. Um, and as authors, we are still are at their mercy a lot. Yeah, there's other platforms to sell on, but Amazon being the big dog that they are, we are stuck with it. It could be worse, right? So I guess
Right.
and a slap on the wrist. Hey, don't put these words in your keyword search anymore. Part of that branding discussion we had earlier is all about visibility, right? And how we get visibility. And we've talked about that quite a bit on this show. And I think it's still going to be, as people find new ways to get visibility, we'll talk more and more about it, right? One of the things that kind of comes back to me about all this conversation is not only do you got to be creative on the page, but you got to be creative with your business, right? And you got to be thinking all the time, a little bit at least outside the box of how am I going to draw readers in? How am I going to get my name out there? There's so much to compete against. And then hopefully find that one area that kind of sparks things and maybe it's something that will take off for you. But to answer your question, Xavier, I can't blame Amazon for that because they're trying to tighten things up, which in the long run is good for legitimate authors. But at the same time, it does seem sometimes like they go off on some weird tangents and they go after piddly little shit that really doesn't matter. Maybe it does in the long run. Hey, they got smart people working for them, I would think, right? So maybe they know better than I do. But it just seems like sometimes, especially when I was reading about this, about suing these 1,000 people, it's like, really this. But it's obviously not about the money for them. It's maybe like you say, like we've said, it's kind of a scare tactic, that sort of thing. Just squash it before it becomes an actual problem.
Yeah, like you said, Amazon is the big dog, and they want to reiterate that fact.
That's right. That's right.
We are the biggest dog. We are bigger than Clifford, bitches.
That's right. And if you don't like it, tough shit.
Tough giant pile of Clifford shit. Because the only reason Amazon is the big dog is so that way it can own Clifford as its smaller dog.
That's right. That's right. That's right. So
it's a dog-owned-dog world.
More Xisms. I love it. It's great. I need to write this stuff down. All right. Okay. Anything from the site before we wrap up for tonight? Good conversation.
Well, I liked what Matt had said, where some people need handlers, and I think that definitely goes into what, if you're the person that wants to have control in your self-published business or your writing business, like you said, Wade, if you got to be creative on the page and creative with your marketing. If you don't want to be creative with your marketing, hire out, or otherwise find people that will invest in you, and that might be agents and that might be handlers, and some people do need handlers. So
Yep.
It's true. It's true. Yeah.
Oh wait, and Patrick had also said fluffers. We also, some people definitely need fluffers.
Patrick, I am fluffy enough. Thank you very much. Yeah, I totally agree, and yeah, I guess that's true for any type of artist, for sure, right? Looking at what they need to be successful, how much they can handle on their own, and
Yeah, you look at Archer Caldwell, who he was going to be starting off a whole deal with self-publishing, but then he decided to kind of focus more on the marketing end, and works for Sean Platt and Johnny B. Truitt, and then David W. Wright. So he's now, instead of focusing on his own writing, is now focusing on just working on their platform and working on their individual strategies. So, if you're not in it for the writing, you might be in it for the marketing. In the same sense that if you're not in it for the marketing, you might just be only in it for the writing. So you need to know how to delineate one from the other, and if you have interest in both, you gotta make them both work.
Good point. Yep, good point. More good advice right here from Xavier Granville, guys. You should be listening to this every week because I'm telling you, there's good nuggets in there.
That's me. Good nuggets.
Xavier's get the good nuggets.
Hashtag good nuggets.
All right, I will encourage all of you to leave us reviews because we won't pay you for them.
I won't. I certainly won't.
I don't have enough money to pay you nothing. So.
But if you do, they will be 5 stars, right, guys?
That's right. Right. And I haven't been on in a couple weeks, so I should be able to hound Xavier. Is iTunes up to date, Xavier?
It will be on next Friday. We have to wait till Libsyn gives us some bandwidth.
Oh, okay. Okay, so close. By the time this happens, I'll be downloading. You guys, the audio listeners will have all that anyway. So.
Yes. On Halloween, there should be things up. Ooh, spooky bunch of episodes of Spurt.
So, all right, do that. We'll have a show next week. I promise you that. And we might have a guest. We might not. But, hey, you should guys come back and listen to us anyway because, we're really interesting guys. So, yeah. Liam, thanks so much. Everybody, thank you for listening. Xavier, do you have something to say?
Happy 63rd birthday, Jeff Goldblum, and good night, internets.